Welcome back. This is a student's request for me to answer this question. We couldn't really get through it in class for lack of time, so I told you that I would explain this or make a video explaining this question. This is a test your understanding from, I think, chapter 6.4, solving triangle problems. And here we're told about a triangle XYZ. XY is x plus 1 centimeters, YZ is x centimeters, and XZ is y centimeters. And the angle XYZ is 120 degrees. Show that y squared equals 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. So that's part 1. So let's deal with part 1 first. So I'm going to draw a triangle with 3 different length sides, because they're all going to be different, and an angle which is like an obtuse angle 120 degrees in there as well. So I'll draw triangles like something like this. Okay, you don't have to be accurate. So I'll draw an angle that's more than 90. This one doesn't want to click in place for some reason. It's no problem. Let's move that up there. That's better. Okay. So let's say this is the angle Y here. XYZ is 120. So this is the angle Y, 120 degrees. And it says XZ is Y, the side Y. So let's say that's X. And let's say that's Z. So this is YZ is X. XZ is XY is x plus 1 centimeters, and XZ is y centimeters. Okay, it says show that y squared equals 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. Now here we have 3 sides of a triangle, okay, in terms of x and y, and our answer is going to here be, well, this expression is in terms of x and y, well, this equation is in terms of x and y, and we have to express them in terms of each other. And how can we link these 3 sides of the triangle? We know the angle between 2 of the sides, well, with the cosine rule. Okay, the cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of a, where the angle a and the side a in the formula are opposites. So if we know the angle 120, then this must be the a in our formula, and then our b and c can be x or x plus 1. It doesn't really matter which of those, but the a must be the y, the side opposite the angle that we know. So I'm going to write this as y squared is equal to, let's say b squared is say x, so yeah, b is x. That's x squared plus, and then you're going to have x plus 1 squared, so this is your b and your c, minus 2 times x plus 1 times the cosine of the angle 120. Okay, so we're going to simplify this. So you're going to x squared, let's expand this bracket. You're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 1, square bracket expands like this. Now, I know that the cosine of 120, if you put it in your calculator, you're going to get negative a half. Degree mode, of course. So this is going to be negative a half times negative 2x, which is going to be plus. So I'll just write it here. This is minus a half times 2x times x plus 1. So minus a half times minus 2x, sorry, times x plus 1, because there's already a negative here. So you can have minus a half times minus 2x times x plus 1. Okay, so that's going to give you plus x. The 2's will cancel, give you plus x here. So you got y squared equals this x squared plus x squared, which is 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Minus and minus is plus, so you're going to have plus x times x, which is x squared, and plus x times 1, which is x. So you end up with y squared equals 2x squared plus x squared, which is 3x squared, 2x plus x, which is 3x, and plus 1, which is what we had to show. Y squared equals 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. So cosine 120 equals negative a half times negative 2x is plus x, so this gives you x squared plus x. That's how that bracket becomes x squared plus x in the end. Alright, so now, the next part says, when x equals 7, find the size of angle x, z, y. So when x equals 7, then this is 7, and this is going to be 8, okay? I'm going to find the size of angle x, z, y. So if I want to find the size of this angle, let me call it the angle z, okay? The angle z. The size of this angle, we can find this, we can find this angle here, okay, if we know this length and this angle. Okay, we know this length and we have to find this angle. So we can use the sine rule, but we have to find what y is first. Okay, now we know that y is equal to, or y squared is equal to 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. So we can say that y is equal to the square root of 3 times, now they said x equals 7, so 3 times 7 squared plus 3 times 7 plus 1, which is the square root of, that's 3 times 49. Okay, 3 times 49. 3 times 49 plus 3 times 7, which is 21, plus 1. That gives you the square root of 169, which is actually 13 centimeters. So y is equal to 13 centimeters. So I know this is 13 centimeters. So I can find the length of, I can find the size of angle XZY. So we have basically a triangle that looks something like this. I'll just draw it roughly here. We're trying to find this angle here. Okay, let's call it angle Z. We know that this side is, this is angle Y, this is 120, this is side X. We've worked out now that XZ is 13 and XY is 8. This was 7, if you remember. So we can use the sine rule. We could have even used a cosine rule if we want to. We can use the cosine rule because we have all three sides. We can use the sine rule because we have pairs of opposites. Okay, so if I use the sine rule, I can say the sine of the angle Z over the length opposite it is equal to the sine of the angle 120 over the length opposite it. So we can say the sine of Z is 8 times the sine of 120 over 13. So Z equals the inverse sine of all of that. So you can stick this in your calculator. Inverse sine, make sure we're in degree mode, which we are. We have 8 sine of 120 divided by 13. Let's just close that bracket there. And that gives us 32.2 degrees. 32.204, which is 32.2 degrees to 1 decimal place. Okay, so that's the angle which is called XZY. So we can say angle XZY is equal to 32.2 degrees. Was there any instruction here? Okay, they didn't say what to write it to, so we should use 1 decimal place for angles. Then it says find the area of angle XYZ. Well, the area of the triangle part 3. The area of a triangle when you have a non-right angle triangle is half times AB sine C. And what that means is two sides and the sine of the angle between those two sides. So it's probably the easiest to use here is this 120 and these two sides. So the area is going to be a half times 7 times 8 times the sine of 120 degrees. Okay, so you just put half, 0.5 times 7 times 8 times the sine of 120 degrees, and that gives us 14 root 3, which turns out to be 24.248, 24.248, okay, which is 24.2 centimeters. So that is the area, centimeters squared, sorry, square centimeters. That is the area of the triangle. And that's the answer for question number 1 from this test your understanding. Okay, I hope that was clear. Other questions from this test your understanding of chapter 6 or chapter 6 in general will be found in the playlist that you can find over here. Other questions from trigonometry of P1 in general can be found, past paper questions and such can be found over here, this link. Okay, so I hope you understood, guys, and I hope that was clear for those of you who weren't sure how to do the question. Thank you and see you soon.